was about to shout, go. Go! Go! Whoop whoop. Hello.
Welcome back to Bonnet, Babble. I'm Katie.
And I'm Evie.
And welcome back to another episode. I think this is going to be episode 21.
Yes.
So after episode 20, which we've literally just recorded, because we're doing a bit of spam recording so we can catch up. Because I wrote too many things before we started doing this.
It's not catch up. It's just sorting out these posts, and then we can go on to a more scheduled...
Yes. A more sensible schedule as well, where I'm not editing every day, because I get square eyes trying to sort out them bloody subtitles.
I can imagine.
Anyway. Why are you ringing? No.
It's my husband. I've just muted it.
Good. Well done. So, part 10.
Oh, that's what I was going to do.
What?
When I said earlier, just on my phone, I forgot what I was going to do.
What were you going to do?
I was going to share the Spotify link to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
To
Remind
where?
me after.
I'm going to cough. I'm sorry. You know when you can just feel the tickle? Okay, right. I'm back in the room. Sorry. Right.
What's that off?
Back in the room. Back in the room. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. There was something the other day that I was editing, and we really missed a trick where I was talking about being set free, and I wanted to be like, Dobby is free, when I was editing it, but we didn't say it, and I was like, no.
I want to break free.
Yeah, that one. That one. Yeah. So in part 10, we're back to the personal saga now. Okay, part 10 is onwards to a new start. So in the part 9, we'd left off with the speedy sale of the house.
Yes.
And my nightmare buyer.
Yes.
Yeah. This is Parking Gate. This
Yeah?
is with Stan. Yeah.
Stan.
I love that name. So we were separated. I was wading through divorce proceedings and also kindling a new relationship with my current partner. And to be honest, after the last post and the last video that we just did, I am in need of a bit of humour. So hopefully this will give us that. So first of all, we're going to go over the first date that I had with my now other half.
Brilliant.
So keep in mind, we met on Tinder. And I think we've been talking in the December 2017, not long after my husband and I had separated. Because I did, it was literally a couple of days and I was like, let's download Tinder. It's a really good idea.
Let's see what
shenanigans we can get up to.
Yeah.
And in January, I had met my current partner, and I was seeing more than one bloke at that time. You know, I was having my options open, I was enjoying myself.
Playing the field.
Yeah, and I seem to have reverted to a teenage state post-separation. And sowing my wild oats. So we'd agreed at fairly short notice to go out for dinner one evening and meet for the first time after exchanging some mildly saucy messages over the first few days. And he said he would collect me so I could have some drinks, because I knew the place we were going had really nice cocktails.
Yeah. I love a cocktail.
I do. And I remember him messaging me to say he was outside. So as I came out the front door, I saw him standing at the end of the driveway in front of a clapped out Ford Galaxy. Okay. Now, when I was writing this, I asked him what car he was driving because I couldn't remember. I just knew it was like a people carrier thing and it was wrecked. And he claims it was not clapped out. I mean, keep in mind at the time, I think my experience with cars, I was driving a Mercedes A-Class and my ex-husband was driving a BMW 5 Series. So to me, a Ford Galaxy was clapped out. Probably. I still have my snob hat on, I think. A touch. Maybe.
I'm trying to picture it. I'm not very good with cars.
And maybe I'll put a picture up on here. So
Yes.
People who don't know cars know what I mean. It's like a people carrier,
Yeah.
which are always a
I
bit
think
clapped out.
we may have had one.
Yeah. I mean,
Briefly.
Yours is at least better because it looks a bit more like a 4x4 rather than a people
No,
carrier.
not me.
No?
My mum.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. So we were both quite nervous going on a first date. He hadn't long been out of a long-term relationship either. And as we drove off, the heavens opened. So it was dark because it was in the winter, and we were driving on a winding A road, and it was raining. And he hadn't put his wipers on. So I was sort of sat there like, why haven't you put your wipers on?
Can't see.
Yeah, like, I can't see. How the hell can you see?
How are you driving?
Yeah. I don't like driving in the dark anyway, but that's by the by. So I remember asking him, why aren't your wipers on? And He said that they were broken. And they'd broken during the snow that we'd had the week before, and he'd not gotten them fixed yet. To which I was sat there thinking, we're gonna die. That's the last time I've seen my children.
Can you imagine going into A&E after being in a crash?
Like,
who's with you? I know his first name.
Yeah, that's about your lot. Yeah. Thankfully, we made it to the restaurant unscathed, clapped out car and ourselves in one piece.
Yeah.
And, you know, we started having a bit of polite chit-chat, and we both ordered a burger. Good start, similar tasting food, you know, smashing. And I thought, because I was in a no-nonsense point. My brain is trying to save myself time in speaking, so we'll just merge everything together. Like a cron the other day.
Have fun with subtitles.
Yeah. So I tackled a real sticking point for me. So whilst I was just having a bit of fun, I kind of wanted to know right from the off that if things got a bit more serious, what they wanted out of a relationship. Yeah, straight off the bat. I don't want to waste my time.
No.
You know? So, you know...
I used to do that when I was a single mother with my eldest.
Quite right.
For one of the first sentences, it's, I'm a single mother.
Yeah. If you don't like that, bye-bye.
Yeah, and it actually scared off quite a few, and I was like, there you go.
Yeah,
Job done.
Yeah, not worth my time, absolutely. So I knew he had a daughter already, and he was recently out of a long-term relationship himself. And our initial terms of meeting were, it was just a bit of fun and company, nothing more. You know, didn't want anything more at that time. But despite that, I said, do you want any more kids? And he absolutely not, he said. I was like, well, smashing.
We can have fun now.
Yeah, I just, you know, I've got two. I've got one of each. I just didn't want any more. Still
Fair
don't
enough.
like, no more, no. Can you imagine now? Because mine are kind of getting to that age where they're a bit more independent and they can fend for themselves a bit more. I just starting, like, you'd be pressing the reset button again on life. Like, no.
This is where I wanted to be done by I was 30, and I did that.
Exactly. Success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, sod starting a new family. I had my hands full with the two lunatics that I'd already produced. Thanks very much. And as our food arrived, okay, now picture this. I saw the waiter coming to our table and he was carrying like 2 plates with leaning tower of burgers on them. Okay? They were humongous. And I remember looking at it thinking, I'm not going to eat that without getting it all over myself. Bugger.
On a first date.
Yeah, on a first date as well. It's like the unwritten rule is you don't order spaghetti on a first date. Something that, you know, food that's going to make you look foolish when you try and eat it.
Ribs.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Just don't do it.
Exactly. So I was thinking a burger is nice and easy. No. Because this was a fancy smanchy, you know, gastro pub thing. They had to make it difficult, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted to give you a challenge.
Yeah, it was literally as big as my bloody head. Now, thankfully, I could see that my now partner was eyeing up his own leaning tower of meat with the same concern. And I remember just sat there looking at him and said, you know, why don't I go to the loo and then you can quickly eat yours, and then when I come back, you can go and I can quickly eat mine, and then if we make a mess of ourselves or mess it up, we don't have to embarrass ourselves. And that seemed to kind of like diffuse the situation. So we both attempted to eat it with a knife and fork without making too much mess. Success.
Well, it sounds like it.
It was all right.
It's a good compromise.
Yeah. So as he was taking me back home in his clapped out car, I did have a bit of the belly flutters on the way back. I was a bit squiffy from the cocktails, and I knew that I'd liked him a bit more than I should. You know? And about a week later, I stayed the night at his flat, and then the next night he stayed at mine. He was getting up for work and like sneaking out like a ninja before the kids woke up. So they didn't know he'd stayed over.
That's dangerous grounds.
Yeah, it was. And when he came home from work in the evening, because he was a builder, I just told the kids that he was the builder helping move the house. Yes, dead easy.
Why are you not doing any work, builder?
Yeah, quite right. And they were too young.
Why are you
really
sitting
to
on the
understand it.
sofa?
Yeah, they were too young really. And he kind of like ninja moved in, you know.
Clever.
Yeah,
That's how I'm doing it here.
Yeah, you are. You're like slowly just taking over a drawer at a time. But I went whole hog, right? Because I subtly hinted, and I opened my ex-husband's wardrobe and just went, "This is empty." You know, you could always just put some stuff in here. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. And he pretty much moved in after that.
Very quick.
Yeah, very. You know,
I can't talk though.
No.
I got married within a year.
Exactly. Yeah, so sod offering a drawer, let's go all in with a full wardrobe, eh? And
Yeah.
now here we are, 6 years later, engaged, albeit not likely to get married anytime soon. That's a whole fiasco as well that I'll go into. About weddings are expensive, and one of my cats ate all of my savings. Don't ask. Well, later.
Later. Ask.
Later. Parking gate is the next bit. So my new partner worked in the building trade, and he usually came home with a large van. Now this was ideal for us because we decided to try and claw back some pennies and do all the removals to the new house ourselves.
Yeah.
Brilliant plan. Now our driveway was a complicated construction, so I'm just going to try and describe it for you. So it was like a bend. So you drove onto it and then it bent round quite sharply, almost at like 90 degrees. And there was a fence going down one side, right where the bend was, and then on the other side was my neighbour's flower bed with all of his tulips. And then it opened up into like a big square parking bit at the end where you could sort of like fit 4 or 5 cars if you parked them sensibly. Now,
Tetris style.
Yeah. Now, because this was a long wheelbase van, there was no way in hell we could swing it round that sharp bend without either driving over all the tulips or taking out the fence in the process. We tried, and yeah, it did not work. So at the end of our driveway, there was like a little sort of like step, a little oblong bit.
You describe it so well.
Oh, do I? No. When I was writing this, I'm like, how would you describe it?
An oblong bit.
Shut up. It was a right-angled indent before joining the footpath, okay? It kind of looked like an extra parking space at the end of our drive, but sort of off to the side a bit.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
And then the footpath was on the other side.
Okay.
All right? And it was supposed to be there for access to a fire hydrant, so a fire engine could pull up at the end of our drive and access the fire hydrant, and we could still have access to our drive without them blocking us in, is why it was supposed to be there.
Right.
Okay. I'll have to like find a picture or something and put it up there, because I don't know. I'm having a brain fart when it comes to that particular spot. Now, a neighbour across from us had claimed this space that is not a space as his parking space. Now, despite the fact it was supposed to be kept clear, it never had been since the day we'd moved in, like 5 years previously. And Stan had a 2-car driveway of his own. Okay, now we will call this neighbour Stan. Okay? Now, everyone in the close had their own driveways. He could easily park his car on his own. And we were using his space temporarily for my partner's van, as our move was in less than a week. Okay, the whole neighbourhood knew about our impending relocation thanks to Mother Dearest and her gossiping, so it wasn't like it was news. And we were doing sort of like 2 trips a night.
Yeah.
Because you think we had like a 4-bedroom house to move and all of Mother Dearest crap as well. Yeah, not enjoyable. Now, I'd gotten home from work one evening and I was... Sorry, that frog's back again. Come on, Kermit, bugger off. So yeah, I'd gotten home from work one evening and I was wrangling bath time with my 2 feral children. My head was kind of abuzz with all the packing that needed to be done and what furniture we could trek over later that evening. And then suddenly there was a rather loud and aggressive knock at the front door. Okay, so I went down to the door with my 2 small children still clinging on to me in various states of undress or dampness after the bath, and I was greeted by a red-faced Stan. Okay, now I'm going to drop the F-bomb, okay, so if you don't like swearing, bugger off. So Stan declared, "You can't park that fucking van there." Okay?
In front of children.
In front of my children. Now,
very young.
My daughter was just over 2 and my son was 4, so they were not F-bomb stage.
No.
No.
They were copying.
They were copying,
they
were parroting
stage.
bloody everything. Yeah, it was terrible. Now that was his first mistake. You don't swear in front of my children. That's my job. We call them driving words in this house. You're not allowed to use them unless you have a driving license.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and until my son went to Legoland and got a fake one, he's like, I've got a driving licence, can I swear now? I was like, oh, no. And his second
Nice try.
mistake was announcing this statement like he was entitled to this space that wasn't even a space. Okay? I'd had a stressful day already, only to be greeted by yet more things that needed to be done when I got home, and my response was far from polite. I said, firstly, hello to you too. Secondly...
Very polite of you.
I like to, kill them with a bit of kindness and sarcasm.
Lure them into a
False sense of security.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, firstly, hello to you too. Secondly, don't you dare speak to me like that in front of my children. And that's my cat food delivery.
I was just about to say, your door's got...
Are they going to drop it and go like they usually do? Let me check. I checked the Ring doorbell.
You seem...
Bear with us. Yeah, look, he's buggered off already.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, bye. There we go. So we'll fall over it when we try and leave later. It'll be fine. So I think that Stan had expected, immediate submission from me over the space that is not a space, not realising that he would poke my fury by swearing in front of my children. And he stood there and he was kind of going a bit like this. He just couldn't get his words out. He was and he was going more and more of an alarming shade of rouge in his face because he was already quite irritated. So I carried on. And I said, we're leaving in less than a week. There's nowhere else to park the van. We're doing 2 trips a night for removals, so we need the access. But by all means, park your car in your space instead of using your perfectly adequate driveway. But if we clip it with the van, trying to save our legs a longer walk, lugging a sofa, you'll only have yourself to blame. Conversation over. And I slammed the door in his face. I was just like, yeah, arse. And my partner, it turned out, I turned around and he was hovering behind me, sort of snickering to himself. And he's like, I see you didn't need my intervention. I'm like, no, it's fine, I've got it. I went into the kitchen, and in my kitchen you could see up the
Can't
drive.
imagine him intervening.
No, and that. Yeah. What's he going to do?
What,
Mumble at them. Sorry. Oh, dear me. So I went into the kitchen and I could see Stan stomping up the driveway, and he stopped with a gaggle of our older neighbours. So most of them, there was a couple of young families, but then the rest of them were all like original owners from the 1960s. And it looked like they'd been stood there gossiping about how glad they would be when these young upstarts moved away. And very disapproving glances towards my house. And then Stan skulked inside. Now, when I was writing this, I'd forgotten a bit. Okay, so my partner reminded me. Apparently Stan, he decided not to take my unwillingness to submit without a ruckus. And a few days later, a copper turned up. Okay? Apparently, Stan, in his irateness, wanted to legally assert his dominance over the space that is not a space. Under the guise that we couldn't park a commercial vehicle on private property.
But it's not private.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thankfully, Mr. Bobby, whenever I say that, I just think of Mr. Blobby.
Me too.
You seen that episode about 8 out of 10 cats? Where Mr. Bobby comes on set and terrifies Jack Whitehall.
No, I have to see that.
Brilliant. So funny. Makes me laugh every
Mr.
time.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Funny.
Anyway, so thankfully Mr. Bobby calmly explained to Stan, who had come outside with a very smug look on his face to see me getting a telling off for parking a commercial van on a private property. But when the policeman explained that it was in fact a public road and there were no signs stating otherwise, that we are entitled to park as we pleased, Stan looked like he was chewing on a wasp. And I have to say, I was quite delighted by that.
Suck it, Stan.
Exactly. It was me being smug after that. Yeah. And I've heard since from the people who bought my old house that parking wars continue over the space that is not space. And as they'd been a bit of a pain in the arse during the purchase, I remember responding to a text message saying, good luck with that. To one of his pain messages, not my problem anymore. And it's also good to know, I suppose, that Stan wasn't just an arse to us. Obviously, I had nothing better to do but to fret over this space that is not a space. Honestly. honestly. If I
A
ever
lot
get
of
like that, punch me.
neighbourhood arguments are over parking.
I mean, we have had parking wars when we lived in the old house, but that's because my knobhead neighbour would literally block our car in with all of her drug dealer friends.
No.
There's a little teaser for you there when I go into my nightmare neighbour saga. Oh, big saga. Now, the very last bit of this, and I need to get on with it because we're at 20 minutes already, it was breaking in, okay? So we'd found a new house. It was a rental, and the plan was we'd rent for a bit while I tried to find somewhere suitable to buy for myself and Mother Dearest. But the issue was that my credit rating had been battered slightly. I say slightly, a lot, during my marriage and home renovations. So my options were quite limited, and it might take a little while for that to recover a bit before I could go to find a sensible mortgage that wasn't subprime and trying to charge me, the earth in interest. So the key to my sanity was to keep Mother Dearest happy with our new accommodation. And I'd stretched my budget to rent the house that she wanted at the bargain price of $1,600 a month.
Ouch.
So not really much cheaper than what I was bloody paying for the mortgages. No.
Sorry.
So yeah, I've even said in the post, selling the house didn't ease any of my financial strain then. Super. And it was huge, this bloody house, okay? It had a massive driveway, double garage, a wraparound garden, conservatory, 4 bedrooms, one with ensuite, which would be for Mother Dearest. A family
bathroom.
that one, thanks. A kitchen diner, a living room, downstairs loo, a study, and a final reception room, which she could have as her own private sitting room. So
Very nice.
we'd only have to share the kitchen, which is good. Fine. Not good actually, because she used to go through the fridge and get everything that was going out of date that day and then just leave it on the dining table as if to say you need to throw this out. It's like, but I didn't ask you to do that with my food. If it ends up going mouldy and disgusting and growing friends, that's my problem, not yours. Leave my stuff alone. Anyway, so we'd rented it with a 2-week overlap to completion of sale, which gave us some time to slowly and painfully trek our life's worth of belongings over there. And my partner and I finished this massive task about 2 days before the sale was completed. And Mother Dearest told us that she would finish her move the following day. So we had our new house to ourselves for the night. Super. So we settled in, absolutely bloody exhausted, into bed.
Yeah. It's tiring work.
Oh yeah, it's horrendous. And then I needed some nicotine. So I remember being left there and I'm like, shall we go for a smoke? And he's like, yeah, go on then. But because it was nearly summertime and the evening was quite warm and the garden was very private, I literally just put on my flip-flops and I went outside in just my knickers and a vest top. And my partner went out in just his boxers. Okay? And I pulled the back door closed behind us as we had a smoke.
Well, yes, you shut the door.
Yeah.
I don't want to smoke
No,
going
I
in.
don't want to go inside. Yeah. And as we went to go in, I realised that this new house had one of those bloody Yale locks that snapped locked as you shut the door.
And you didn't have a key?
No, because I had no trousers on. And I hadn't left it on the latch.
So you're stuck out
We're locked outside, yeah.
in just
Yeah.
underwear practically.
So all the keys were inside and our phones were inside. Yeah. So we were up the creek with that sodding paddle. So
What
I'm
would you
literally...
have done who would you have called anyway?
I don't know. Somebody that my mother had a key.
Oh.
She had her own key, so I would have called her to ask her to come and rescue us.
Would she have done that?
Probably not. Or if she had have done, she would have, whinged about it for months afterwards.
Yeah.
But, there was an option, but I didn't have my bloody phone. So my partner realised that, he'd left his van unlocked. Super. Might be some tools in there. But as he had no shoes on, I was tiptoeing over the gravel, not to get gravel stuck in his toes.
Just man up and run over it.
Yeah, exactly. And we realised we were going to have to break a window. And we didn't want to break one of the front windows because the last thing I wanted to cement our sheer idiocy was police turning up when I was only wearing my knickers. See, I have brain farts with words sometimes. So we initially tried to break the little rainbow-shaped section of glass on the wooden back door.
I remember.
Now, yeah.
I remember you reading this and I thought, what
is
are
that?
you on about?
I know. So when I was telling Evie about this, I literally, without her even saying anything, I looked up and went, probably would have been easier just to say semicircle, wouldn't it?
Yes, it really would have.
I literally couldn't think of the word semicircle and I was writing it and I'm like, rainbow shaped will do. idiot. Now, apparently, this semicircle of glass was bomb-proof, okay? We'd smacked it with rocks, a pipe, and one of the, you know those ratchet strap things with the metal on the end?
Yeah.
We'd been smacking that against it as well. We hadn't
That must
even...
have really caused a loud noise.
It did. There wasn't even a sodding chip in it, okay? So we were making a hell of a racket by this point, having tried on numerous occasions to smash this little impetuous bit of glass. Fine. Be that way. So we picked another window. The next half suitable window was the downstairs loo. And after a good 30 minutes of still... God, Jesus, I don't know what they make glass out of these days. Can't be glass. It's bomb-proof. And after a good 30 minutes, we managed to get through. And this had one of those,
No.
My adjectives are not my friend today.
No, they're really not.
No, you know where at the top of the window you've got like a little segment that you can then open outwards from the bottom up to open the window? Like I've got in my bathroom. Upstairs. Yeah? Again, I'm probably going to have to find a picture because I can't describe it properly.
The
or
standard
Evie just
set
can't
of
understand.
windows, you've got it's a 2-paned window, isn't it? You've got one that opens up, but then you've also got the third window, which you
Opens at the top.
outward. Yeah.
But this was only one pane and it had the little bit at the top that opened outwards. So we'd managed to smash that bit at the top, which was big enough for one of us to kind of post ourselves through, just.
Yeah.
Okay. Now...
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so I'm a short ass, okay, and there was no way in hell that I was going to be able to, even with my partner's help, and I knew on the other side then that there was nothing to grab onto, okay? Once I got on through the window, I was literally going to drop myself headfirst onto a stone floor.
Ouch.
So I didn't volunteer.
You voluntold.
I voluntold. Yes, I voluntold my partner. He had to go. And I had to cling to his legs to like balance himself out, okay, to provide some like counterweight. So he's there half through the window and I'm like clinging onto his legs. Now again, because it's quite high up, I'm on my tippy toes, very, very tippy toes like this, trying to like, pull down so he doesn't just fall over. And he kept shouting for him to let him go lower. And I'm like, I've run out, I have no more toes. There's no more tippy toes to go. No more toes, I can't help you. And I slipped. And he fell through the gap, head first, onto the bloody stone floor. And I'm literally outside and thinking, I better just dropped him on his head.
Have you killed him?
Are you okay? Thankfully, he was fine. And he opened up the back door and let me in, half dressed and frazzled. So lesson learned the hard way, never go outside without pushing the door on the latch. And so we taped some cardboard over the window that we'd ruined, as if that would do anything to stop a determined burglar. And went back to bed. So yeah, what a way to christen a new house. Super. Oh. Yeah. So that's all for part 10. And it's all right, 28 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so join us for the next episode. The next episode is part 11, where we skip to the era post-Mother, as that story will feature in the Mother Dearest series later. And in that one, we'll be moving again and experiencing the joys of lockdown. Yay!
The dreaded thing.
Exactly. Delightful. Stowe.
There were some funny moments.
Stowe. I can't speak.
So sane.
I think we need to be done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay sane. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.